The third ear, the third hearing aid, the Rolls-Royce of hearing aid accessories. What am I talking about? I wanted to share a conversation I'd had with a gentleman yesterday who'd come in who is absolutely enamoured with his Phonak Roger mic, and I thought it just was worth sharing. He's currently got a top-of-the-line pair of Unitrons, so Vivante 9 rechargeable aids. The first statement he made, which I thought was amazing, was Phonak Roger is fantastic. I cannot manage without it. And he was sort of stating how he would often put it on a table at home when he was speaking with his wife. He said if they were, as they're doing today, they're travelling, he would put it around his wife's neck because he's going through a busy train station, and that of course would be very challenging. He's currently going through a health challenge and his hearing's deteriorated quite badly, hence the reason we're using the Roger technology, but it's been an absolute godsend, I would say. So in the evening, he says he will often listen to music with his wife, but what he'll end up doing is putting the mic around her neck, because that way, if she then interjects and wants to start a conversation, rather than having to stop the music and say, sorry, what was that you said, they can carry that on. So that's a really nice use of the Roger mic. His friends are aware of his hearing loss. So recently he was sitting at the back of a lecture hall, and at the end his friends said to him, wow, you must really have missed out on this. I bet you barely heard anything. And he said, no, on the contrary, I heard every single word. And they said, oh, how on earth did you do that? The guy wasn't really projecting very well. It sounded like he was mumbling a little bit. You know, we were struggling. He said, well, I actually got the Roger at the beginning of the lecture and asked the presenter to put it around the neck, which they did. So I heard brilliantly, even right at the back. So he loved that about it. The gentleman said to me, the Roger for lecturers is absolutely brilliant. It makes a huge difference between having it and not, and actually makes the lecture worth attending. So yeah, if you're in that kind of scenario, I mentioned with a remote mic from Phonak recently, we used again with a Unitron patient. Gentleman had put it round the minister's neck. Normally wouldn't hear the sermon, but heard really well. There's lots of uses for these. And then finally, around the dinner table, it caused lots of intrigue. Lots of people were commenting on it. So one friend said, oh, whoa, what are you doing? Are you recording us? And the patient explained, well, as you know, I've got a hearing loss. This is to enhance my hearing even further. And as he noted, sometimes you can do things that even normally hearing people can't do. But what he was saying is around the table he now hears well if he's out for dinner with his friends. And one friend said to his wife, hey, how come I don't have one of those? And she said, I don't know, you should do. They're your ears.